Hello, everyone. Good day. I pray everyone is well. I just wanted to come on here and discuss a very important topic um, related to high blood pressure, the medical terminology, hypertension. Now, hypertension is a very serious disease, and the saddest part about hypertension is also known as the silent killer. This is because the symptoms of hypertension can be very subtle, or sometimes some people don't even have any symptoms at all, or we're just so busy that we're not really taking the time to pay attention to our body. However, I'll go into detail regarding all of that in another video, but I just wanted to mention some basic information that should be put in place right away the minute that you suspect or you have been diagnosed with this disease. It's important to do so because some of the risks related to high blood pressure are very serious, including seizures, organ damage to your organs within your body, such as your kidneys, your heart, and the list goes on. And the worst is even death. Okay, so you've been diagnosed with high blood pressure, and now what? Right now, what? Oh, well, I have high blood pressure. No, there's certain things that you should do that can help you remain proactive in the management of your high blood pressure. Now, if you are new to having high blood pressure, or whether you not new to having high blood pressure, you've had it for years, I believe that these are things that just should be put in place right away. Now, of course, when it comes to the diet, I like to mention this My Plate Planner. It's a healthy way to eating, but disclaimer, if you are faced with another type of medical issue that does not allow you to follow this type of eating plan, and your prescriber recommends something to you, by all means, please follow your recommendations from your provider. If you are totally healthy and you have not been, excluded to having a meal like this, then you can just, take a little note. So this pretty much just portion controls the foods that's good for us and the foods that's not so good for us. So when you're preparing your plate for your lunch, for your dinner, I implore you to immediately cover half of your plate with vegetables, preferably dark green vegetables, because not only is vegetables good for you, dark green vegetables help with your blood levels, certain blood levels, such as your hemoglobin, your hematocrit. Those have a lot to do with storing iron, which helps you give energy and things of this nature, especially a lot of people that may be anemic. Dark green vegetables added to your diet may significantly improve those levels. Okay, you want to limit your carbs. Your carbs are your rice, your pasta, your potatoes, your bread, corn, green beans. Those type of foods go into this area, and as you can see, it's only quarter of your plate. Quarter of your plate is like a handful. So when you're preparing your meals, you should not be preparing more than a handful of this food group, okay? And that also goes for your proteins. That includes your chicken, your beef, your fish, whatever proteins you like, okay? And that goes into this area right here, okay? You always want to have adequate amount of water, and once again, as I mentioned, sometimes when you have certain heart conditions, certain things going on, medical problems, water is not your best friend in that situation. So please consult with your primary care provider before initiating anything new that you hear from me, okay? As goes as well as fresh fruits. Fresh fruits can be good, in some cases with diabetes and stuff like that. You do want to limit certain sugars and things that fruits can bring up those levels as well, okay? So starting with the diet, all right, you want to make sure also that you're getting enough activity in the day. Walking 30 minutes a day. That can just be walking around your neighborhood, going to the park, just walking, getting fresh air. And if you can do brisk walking, do some brisk walking. 30 minutes a day. It can be a lot to ask for in this busy world, but once you know you're doing yourself a lifetime of benefits, just get up and be active. If you can do more than just a walk in 30 minutes a day, then do it. It's only beneficial to you. So you've been diagnosed with high blood pressure. First thing you want to do is differentiate the two. So maybe you went to the clinic, you went to see a doctor in the doctor's office, and they said, well, your blood pressure reading is too high. I believe, I don't want to quote right now, but the regulations, the AHA came up with some new normal blood pressure values, which the top number, which is known as a systolic blood pressure, they want it to be between 100 and 120. Don't quote me, I'll get back to you to confirm in another video. And that bottom number, which is known as your diastolic blood pressure, the recommendation is between 60 and 80. Okay, these ranges can vary from person to person, depending upon what's going on. Like some people may have blood pressure that's lower than that, and that's their baseline blood pressure. They don't have any symptoms of low blood pressure, and they're walking around, they're fine, and they've always had this type of blood pressure all their life. So it can vary, but that's the standard value that your blood pressure should be between. But you go to the doctor's office and they tell you your numbers are above that. I believe you have to have at least 2 readings in your doctor's office or your primary care provider's office to actually be diagnosed with high blood pressure. But listen, however they decided to diagnose you, you've been diagnosed with it. Okay, so what do you do next? Outside of the meal, okay, it's important that you differentiate between something known as white coat syndrome. Now, white coat syndrome affects those some individuals that every time they go into a doctor's office, into their primary care provider's office, all of a sudden their blood pressure is high. But if you check their blood pressure like in a comfortable atmosphere, like their home or somewhere that doesn't make them anxious or nervous, the blood pressure is normal. You need to be able to differentiate that. Why? Because that'll help prevent you from being treated for something that you don't even have. Like, why take unnecessary medication for something that you don't even have? Right? So you've been diagnosed with high blood pressure. First thing you should do is purchase yourself a blood pressure machine. Why do I say that? You want to be able to monitor your blood pressure in an environment that does not result in anxiety, and anxiety can result in high blood pressure. So you get yourself a monitor, preferably an upper arm monitor. I know they have some fancy wrist monitors and all type of devices, but the preferred way of monitoring, and that's what we teach our patients, we provide our patients with upper arm blood pressure monitors. Okay, and once you have that, I want you to make sure that you understand that there's also a correct way to measure that blood pressure. I don't know if you can see it, the lighting is causing let me see if I can put something else behind it. Okay, so there is a correct way to monitor the blood pressure. Okay, so blood pressure monitoring, before you even check it, you should have no food or drink for at least 30 minutes before checking your blood pressure. You should have not eaten at least 30 minutes before checking your blood pressure. Why? That is because when you eat, all right, there's certain things that happen in the body that kind of slows down the metabolism. Things are happening with your vessels in the body, causing it to dilate or either constrict, and you can get a false reading. Cold drinks can constrict your vessels, also resulting in inaccurate blood pressure values. So you want to make sure you haven't eaten or drank anything for 30 minutes. So when you wake up in the morning, is probably the best time to monitor. Also, you want to make sure that you empty your bladder. Go and use the bathroom. A full bladder can cause you to be tense, resulting in inaccurate blood pressure values. So empty your bladder. There should be no talking while you're monitoring your blood pressure. Talking can affect the blood pressure reading. Your arm, if you can, should be resting at your chest height. So if you're sitting in front of a table, just put your arm there. I also like to mention, if you can, because some people cannot use their left arm, their left limb, you want to try to use your left arm. I say that because it's the arm closest to your heart. It'll be easy for you to remember, closest to your heart, to provide you with the most accurate reading. But sometimes some people have different medical things going on, like dialysis shunts. They might have had breast surgery, so they cannot use the left arm. Take it in the right arm, and that's fine, okay? So no talking. Your arm is at chest height. Your cuff is against the bare skin, meaning you're not going to have on a thick hoodie, a thick sweater, thick clothing to act as a barrier to the measurement of your blood pressure while taking it. So you want to make sure that your blood pressure cuff is against your bare skin. Please do follow the manufacturer directions. Every monitor comes with one. If you're just not sure, you can go to any local pharmacy and say, hey, listen, can you show me how to use this machine? And they'll be happy to assist you. Also, you can walk into your local pharmacy if you don't have a machine, and they'll take your blood pressure for you for free. They'll take it for you for free, okay? So make sure you're sitting up straight in a chair where your back is supported by the chair, and your feet should be flat on the floor, not crisscross, under, moving, shaking. Your feet should be flat on the floor like this. Okay? So that's even, we're not talking about no medicine. We're not talking about anything. We just talking about taking your blood pressure outside of your primary provider's office. Okay? Next, you should have something to document those blood pressures. We provide our patients with something that looks like this. It's a blood pressure monitoring log, and it has the date, and it has the AM reading, a slot for the AM reading, and a box for the PM reading. So we encourage them to monitor at least twice a day, when you wake up in the morning and before going to bed sometime later on in that day. Okay, this way you can kind of see, is there a difference in the morning, in the evening, and you can try to pinpoint if there is a difference, why there would be such a significant difference. I encourage anyone that's already been diagnosed with high blood pressure, already on blood pressure medication, anything related to cardiac, any issue, this is a good idea. Everything that I have already discussed up until this point, okay? So once you do that, you want to make sure that you're keeping accurate logs of those numbers that you get from your machine. So your machine will give you 3 numbers. It'll give you your systolic blood pressure, which is usually on the top, your diastolic blood pressure, which is usually on the bottom of that number, and then the last number, they'll probably give you your heart rate, your pulse rate, okay? So you want to make sure you take a detailed note of that. Okay, so you want to do that and make sure that after collecting enough information, like say, hey, wait a minute, now you notice your blood pressure is like perfectly normal, and say, listen, doc, here's what I've been doing at home. You take your log with you to your next primary care provider's note to have them review it. Take it with you. Like, say, hey, listen, I noticed that when I'm home, I've been monitoring my blood pressure. My machine is functioning properly. That's another thing. You want to make sure that your machine, because machines do break, they're faulty, sometimes they're defective. Take it with you to your next doctor's appointment. That way you could compare the 2 readings of their machine, because maybe their machine is faulty. Anything is possible. So here you are taking a treatment that's probably not even necessary. But anywho, this is just to encourage you to be proactive for your own health, for your own care, okay? So now they'll be able to differentiate between white coat syndrome and actual high blood pressure. Okay. Sometimes when you've already been diagnosed with high blood pressure and your provider has already prescribed you with medication, how are you to know that your blood pressure now isn't too low? Because you take a medicine that's designed to drop your blood pressure. But I want you to understand that high blood pressure can be just as fatal as low blood pressure. Low blood pressure can leave you feeling dizzy, weak. I mean, you could literally pass out from low blood pressure. You pass out. Who's to say you're not standing next to a sharp object? You hit your head. Now you passed out. You bleeding. There's no one around. Listen. Monitoring your blood pressure, whether on medication, diagnosed with high blood pressure, you new to all of this, you don't understand it, is the number one, it's the key factor in the management of this very serious disease. I'm not going to go too deep in this video. I just wanted to get those very main basic things out, because this morning I know my nephew, he called me with the same issue. My son was 15 years old, when he was diagnosed with this. I like to say it's genetic because my mom had high blood pressure. I have high blood pressure. And my son has high blood pressure. It's like, okay, I don't want to, get all anxiety, what should I say? Fearful in the unknown. All right, let's take back the control, and let's not get an anxiety when the providers are diagnosing us with these things. Okay, now what can I do? How can I take control or take the reins over what's happening with my body? Very simple. Diet is a big key factor in this. Your exercise and monitoring, simple at-home monitoring. So I hope this video have been helpful to someone. I just want to put it out there, because sometimes we do feel like left alone, like now what? And you shouldn't just be doing things just because somebody told you to do it. Okay, you want things to make sense. You should be able to explain and tie things as why you're doing it, the reasons why you're doing it. Oh, my doctor said I have it, so I gotta take it. No, we need to end that conversation, and we need to start being more proactive when it comes to our health, because we see a doctor for a few minutes to an hour, and then the rest of the day and the rest of the years, everything is on us. So let's take control and do the things that's necessary to keep us healthy. Until next time, guys, bet on yourself.